Damn right.
Stranger Things Season 2. I've been looking forward to this. I didn't get a chance to review Season 1, but I really liked it, like a lot, and I would probably give it like an A or an A-, something like that, so I was definitely very excited to see Season 2, and I like binged it. I just finished it about like an hour and a half ago, and had like time to process it, and obviously like the title says, the second half of this video will be sort of the spoiler-filled bit, and then I'll just sort of give my initial thoughts. And this bit, and I'll give my grade, and then we have spoilers. So basically, this series takes place about a year after the events of Season 1, and the first couple episodes are really about, you know, showing, okay, where the characters are, who's going out with who, who's not going out with who's friends with who, and all that. And then there's a mystery, and, you know, stuff happens, and we'll get into all the spoilers in a bit, but that's the initial story, that's what you need to know going in. Now this show definitely has a lot of hype behind it, almost as much as Game of Thrones Season 7, I would say. And that's because the first season was such a surprise to everyone. Nobody expected it to be nearly as good as it was, and it was just absolutely incredible in every way. And so when the second season comes along, people go in with the highest expectations. That's just what happens, whether it's, you know, John Wick #1, nobody really expected much from it. Kingsman #1, nobody really expected much from it. But when the #2 comes, that #2, people really do expect a lot from it, and they hope that it lives up to, you know, the greatness that was the first one. And the big question, obviously, is that does Stranger Things Season 2 live up to, you know, Season 1? And I'm just going to give a real quick answer here. It does. Because this show is just as good as, and in many ways better than Season 1, but also in many ways not as good. And I'll discuss that in just a bit, but the thing that really hit me was that it took what was really good about Season 1 and then built on that. It's much bigger, there are more characters, and sometimes that may not be the best, which I'll again discuss in a bit. But overall, this is an incredible show. It's so much fun. It's so well made. So I guess I should just talk about, you know, the behind the camera stuff first. The directing, whether it's by the Duffer Brothers, who are the creators, or anyone else really, Sean Levy, and there are a couple of new directors working on this season, the directing is really good. The visual style, I mean, one of the biggest step-ups from Season 1 is the cinematography. This is one of the best looking seasons of TV I've ever seen. Some of the shots are like, they're like, I'm not going to say Roger Deakins, but like they're getting there. Like this is a really good looking show. The music is really good. It's still that sort of 80s feeling, you know. Like if you've seen films like Drive or The Guest or It Follows, the music's quite similar to those films. And something I guess I've wanted to get off my chest for a while now is the theme song of Stranger Things. You know, like yeah, that's, if anyone's seen the film called Only God Forgives, which by the way you should, it's a really cool and experimental artsy film. Part of Cliff Martinez's score for that film was like this. So I guess Stranger Things, it sort of kind of take from that. But anyway, you get the point. The music's really good, the directing's incredible, the script is really good, and I guess now we should talk about the characters and the actors, and I'll obviously get into more detail in the spoiler section, but the acting across the board is great. I would say the two best performances are Winona Ryder as you know, Joyce Byers, and David Harbour as Chief Hopper. They're insane, like they're really good. I would say Joyce has like some of the more like emotional like outburst scenes, and then Hopper's like the more subdued one. But because David Harbour is so good, like you can see, you know, what's going on beneath the surface, and it's just really complex and really good. But the kid actors, I mean, I said this with It, like some of the kid actors, like they're some of the best. Like the guy who plays Dustin, who's my personal favorite character, he's incredible. He's so funny. And Mike, who's really good, but I think Mike doesn't actually have as much to do as he did in Season 1. Will Byers is really good. 11, obviously, is really good. I'll talk about 11 more in just a bit, but overall, the acting is on point. I mean, some seriously good performances here. Now, I want to talk about some of the characters. One of the things that I really didn't like about how Season 1 ended was that, you know, even though they went through so much stuff together, Nancy, for some reason, ended up with Steve. And that was something that I felt just, it shouldn't have happened. Like, what? Like, why? And in Season 2, I feel like the direction that they take that relationship in is really good. And it works. And, you know, Nancy, Steve, and what's the brothers called? Jonathan, right? Their sort of love triangle type thing actually works, like, really well. And I really like the direction that they took Steve in, because he is now no longer a complete douchebag. And I loved his interactions with Dustin. Those were some of my favourite scenes in the series. I also have to give a special shout out to Sean Astin, Sam from Lord of the Rings. He's in this and he plays Bob, and he's sort of a new character. He's definitely sort of a fish out of water type character. He doesn't really know much, and as the story progresses, he starts to like learn more about what happened in season 1. He's incredible. It's so great to see Sean Astin back. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything since Lord of the Rings. He's so good. And another sort of fish out of water character is Max, or Mad Max, whatever you want to call her. At first, when I saw like the trailers and the interviews, and I found out that they were introducing a new character, like a new kid into the group, I was like, I don't know if this is going to work, but it really does, because her storyline and her interactions with Lucas and Dustin especially, really, really good. And I really liked her own sort of personal storyline with her brother and stuff. It was just really, really well done, and the acting there is really good as well. So I guess I'm just going to talk about some of the things that I may not have liked as much with this season. The first thing being that 11 storyline. Obviously, if you see the trailers, then you know that she comes back, so that's not really a spoiler. But I just feel like her storyline felt too detached from the rest of the main storyline, right? I thought that her storyline, whenever it cut to her, especially in episodes 5, 6, 7, felt kind of out of place at times, and I just wish that it would have been more like her storyline would have been more involved in the main storyline. Especially episode 7, which kind of stood out to me, is the one episode. Even though it was good and it was really well made, it was really well acted, it was that one episode where I was like, it feels like you're setting up a cinematic universe here. Not sure what I think about that. And even though, like I said, it was good, I'll talk about episode 7 more in the spoiler section, but it doesn't really fit with the rest of the series. Also, I think the pacing is kind of inconsistent, because with the first series, Will Byers goes missing in like the first 10 minutes. It's a mystery, you don't know what's going on, and you start to learn stuff with the characters, and it's really compelling, and it's really energetic, and it's really fast paced. But with this one, it starts off kind of slow. The first 2 episodes didn't need to be that slow, and then when different directors take over from the Duffer Brothers, who directed the first 2 episodes, and I think the last 2 episodes, I'm not sure, but when the other directors came in and the script wasn't written by the Duffer Brothers, the pacing was really, really fast, and then became really, really slow, and then really, really fast, and then really, really slow, and then there's like some stuff that just happened really quickly, and then in the next episode there's like a 10-15 minute like monologue scene, and so it did feel inconsistent at times, unlike the first season, which just felt really, really smooth. And also, my other problem, which is probably the last problem I have, is the fact that with the first season, you kind of knew who the villains were, right? It was the evil government people and the Demogorgon. And with this one, it's very ambiguous and vague, and you don't really know what you're up against, but maybe they're saving that for season 3, you don't know. But like, I wish that there was more clarity to the antagonist, and I think that it would have made the audience root for the characters more if we had a better understanding of, like who or what the characters are sort of up against. That's sort of all my initial thoughts, and I would probably give Stranger Things Season 2 an A-, or maybe an A, I'm not entirely sure about that just yet, but I would probably say right now it's an A-. So let's go into spoilers. I guess we should just talk about Bob and his death. I would say Bob is the new Bob. To be honest, I would say the Bob stuff, Bob, it's like a little bit too hyped up by people on the internet. But Bob, his character, I thought was really, really good, and he dies, and it's really sad. It's really sad. I did not want that to happen, but it's effective, because, they spend so much time with his character, and he does so many great things, but then he dies. I mean, like, okay, fine, it's effective, and someone had to, and I guess he was the one to go. That's fine. Now, like I said, my biggest problem was that 11 felt too detached from the story. What the fuck was episode 7 all about? I feel like the Duffer Brothers were like, oh, you know what, I think we should just take a break from all the Spielberg-esque 80s nostalgia and make a straight-up X-Men movie, because there is literally a scene where it's like a direct rip-off of the James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, Matthew Vaughn First Class scene. Like when I forgot what the name is, but like, the girl who can make people see things, and she's trying to get 11 to test her powers to bring that thing, bring the train towards her, and then she's like, oh yeah, you have to use your anger and your pain, just like James McAvoy said to Michael Fassbender in this scene. And I just thought that, okay, that was a little bit too obvious, guys, come on. It's a good scene that they're ripping off. It's not like they're ripping off Transformers, but I just feel like they could have done that in a more original way. And I feel like the creators of Stranger Things, what they did with the episode 7, felt too like cinematic universe, like I said, and it sometimes didn't work for me, but I am definitely intrigued to see who else is out there, what powers they have. It is intriguing, and I want to see what happens next with that storyline. But like, they set it up from like the first scene in the first episode, and I just wish that it had more of a payoff. And you know, 11 comes back literally in the last episode, and I wish that she had come back slightly earlier, but it's still really satisfying to see her with the other characters. Also, one of my favorite like little moments in the series was when like the four guys, like they go to school within the Ghostbusters outfit, and then Dustin turns around and sees like, and you expect like dramatic reveal, but then it turns out like everyone's coming out of the bus, but they're not wearing costumes. That was like one of the best sort of small moments for me. And also the scene when Jonathan and Nancy finally get together in that like conspiracy theorist's house, and then like she opens the door and he's just standing right outside. I was just like, I also like that they actually sort of gave each character something to do. Like, for example, Lucas had sort of his interactions with Max, and Dustin had Dart, who I think was actually quite a fun like little storyline there. You know, Mike, he doesn't have as much to do. I guess they want to, you know, shine the spotlight on other characters because Mike was one of the main characters in season 1, but it's fine. And also, I think fans of Whiplash would recognise that the Doctor in this film, this guy, is actually Miles Teller's dad in Whiplash, and just noticed that because I've seen Whiplash like too many times. But yeah, so pretty much, I really enjoyed this show. I think everyone probably did. It's a really good show, and it's a show that even though it gets bigger and bigger and more characters are introduced, it's still, at its core, it is a show about family and characters and friendship, and it has so much heart to it. And that's what I love most about Stranger Things, is that it really is, even though there's like superpowers and demogorgons and all that shit, it is still very much a show that is focused on family and friends. And it's a really good show. I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Tell me what you think. Please comment down below. Thank you very much for watching as always, guys. Thank you.